Hello and welcome back to The Movies Made Us Do It. Me and Matt are back. How are you, Matt?
I'm pretty good, so how are you?
I'm alright. It's getting near that time. You've done better than I haven't done any, to be honest. I've done fucking no Christmas movies. You've done a couple this time, so you've done better than me.
I always do Christmas movies.
You
every
do?
year. I kind of have to.
And do you know one of them, which
Yeah.
we'll get to. You'll know which one. I literally saw the cover and I was like, now I'm going to go to IMDb and get the plot summary, and I feel like I already know the plot summary. And I was like, oh yeah, I knew that fucking plot summary. I could have written that myself without seeing it.
Yep.
But yeah, anyway, here we are. And
there was one Christmas movie that I saw. Have you seen the anything for Hot Frosty?
I've seen people post it online as like a meme, I think, but I don't know if anyone's actually watched it that I know of.
When I saw the title, I saw Lacey Chabot was in it, and I thought, okay, maybe I'll watch that. And I saw the trailer, I was like, nope, fuck no.
See, that's a bad trailer, but an honest trailer. It's bad for them, but good for the customer.
Oh, I'm sure it's gonna get lots of watches, especially for women or men. Anybody who wants to see a hot dude going around.
Yeah, cool. Know. Yeah, I get it.
That's that's fine. But
enough.
No, I could not bring myself to
it was like when people were telling me that they loved like Aquaman, and I was like, why? And then they were like Jason Momoa. I was like, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
no, that's fair enough. I understand that.
I mean, Aquaman was sort of fun.
I like the first one was fun. I haven't even seen the second, but
no, I haven't either. I haven't bothered.
Fun trash.
No. Yeah.
Anyway.
I actually did want to watch Red One.
Oh, I do not want to watch Red One.
I think it's going to be.
I'm fucking sick of these movies.
But I wanted to give it a go anyway. But it's like out today, I think.
Right. Well, maybe I'll watch it and then we can review it as well. I'm just kind of done with these fucking like Santa, but he's evil, or Santa, but he's a superhero, or it's like, oh, can we just get back to like more this kind of trash Christmas stuff? Like Christmas movies should be a bit trashy. I don't like all of this,
And we've always been a little easier on Christmas movies.
Well, you are no, that's the rule though, because like Hallmark Christmas movies are terrible movies, but they're fine at Christmas. That's like it's fine.
Yeah,
it's the time that Hallmark get a pass because you can tell the same story over and over again, and it's fine.
Yeah,
as will be shown in this show today.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you want to kick us off?
Well, I might as well start off with that one then. That I think.
Oh, go on then. Which one do you think it was?
So, Our Little Secret.
Yes, it was that one.
Yes. So, Our Little Secret. It's a Netflix movie directed by Stephen Herrick. Stars Lindsay Lohan, Ian Harding, and Kristen Chenoweth.
Now, before Matt continues, what do you think this film is going to be about? You're right.
So, Lindsay Lohan plays Avery, and Ian Harding plays Logan, and they've basically known each other ever since they were kids. They grew up together, they were inseparable, and when they were a little older, they ended up becoming a couple. And then Avery's mother dies, and she decides she's going to go to London to sort of live and work, and Logan's in a sort of heartbroken, sort of needy, desperation, asks her to marry him, and she of course says no, and then they don't see each other again for like 20 years or something. 15 years? 20 or 15 years. Meanwhile, she's come back. She's now dating Cameron, and she is going to be going to the Christmas family, her new boyfriend's Christmas family sort of event, and Kristen Chenoweth is the matriarch, who is fucking horrible, in the cutest way that Kristen Chenoweth possibly pull off, and it turns out that Logan is dating Cameron's sister, so they both turn up, and Avery has already put her foot in it a few times with the mother, so she decides that she's going to pretend that they don't know each other.
Sure, it's our little secret.
Yes, so that it's going to be their secret. They're not going to, tell each other. Obviously, things happen. It for people. The youngest brother. I mean, I'm not fucking really giving anything away. The youngest brother finds out and blackmails them for certain things, and it's the usual sort of French farcy stuff,
Yeah.
Oh, people running around between doors and people eating too much or drinking too much and saying stupid things, and people turning up and surprising everyone, and that usual stuff. You got a nice little bonus cast of the bit players, as if you like. You've got Tim Meadows, you've got Henry Zerny, Kurt Huey. You've got a few sort of like people that you kind of know from things.
Yeah.
It's pretty charming. It's as we say, it's your usual Christmas stuff. It's silly sort of running around.
Yeah, it looked fun. I saw the trailer. It, for all of my making fun of this movie, it looks fine. It's nice to see Lindsay Lohan looking healthy and okay, because she went through a period of like a lot of these child stars unfortunately do, and it's like, okay, she looks like she's doing all right, and
From what I can gather, this is the third. So she was, I think she was contracted for Netflix for 3 movies,
right?
And I think this is the third one because she's done a Christmas movie every year since.
Oh, I must have erased those from my memory.
Well, I saw one of them, the one where there's one where she's this rich. It sounds like she's basically Paris Hilton, sort of.
Okay.
She's a hotel heiress who loses her memory on when her boyfriend proposes to her and falls down a mountain.
Oh my god! It's like Santa with muscles, but
yes. And then hot guy turns up and says, "Hey, you can come and live with me," in this sort of overboard kind of way.
Sure.
It was again rubbish, but Christmassy and fun.
Fine. Yes.
Same as this. So there's some genuinely surprising moments in this that I actually did enjoy. There was one particular moment with slight spoilers. So they go out to hunt. They go out to chop down the Christmas tree. An Avery, and Avery gives her this coat to wear because her coat's inadequate, and first of all she refuses to wear it, but he knows her, so he knows she's going to get cold. So they go out, and she gets hungry, and in the pocket she finds some gummies, which of course she eats.
Oh,
exactly. Turns out that they're special gummies, unicorn gummies. And then they go to the church for a Christmas sort of festival thing, and she's supposed to do a reading. So she has to sort of get up and do this reading. Meanwhile, she's tripping balls. And I won't spoil what it turns into, but it was a genuinely funny, nice moment. I thought actually, I really quite liked it. So that was quite a surprise. There's an interesting thing with a dog that apparently loves everybody but her,
right?
And what she does with it. And there is a guest appearance by Chris Parnell as the veterinarian, which I love. I do love Chris Parnell. He plays the like biggest twat characters in a lot of movies. Yeah, but he's really funny. I mean, he's one of my favorite characters in Archer.
Yes.
And I mean, not my favorite character, but they're all fucking cool characters, to be honest. Archer's
they're all pretty good. Yeah.
It's lost its way towards the end. But
I haven't continued watching it, but those first few seasons were superb.
Oh, dude, Pam is my favorite character.
Oh yeah, Pam's great.
I fucking love Pam. And so yeah, it's a great series. But yeah, so there was some genuinely. The only thing I will say is I didn't really feel the spark between Logan and Avery.
Okay, that's kind of key.
I mean, Ian Harding was doing a good job. He's himself is really charming, and I quite. Other than his character was a bit needy and a bit sort of dumb at times, which is obviously he's supposed to be. They didn't really have the chemistry that they were supposed to. I don't think.
Right.
Which is kind of a bit of a bummer for this sort of movie. But
yes.
the rest of the people were, the people were fine. It was all good. I mean, like I said, Kristen Chenoweth is always fucking good. And, she's spot on as the evil mum.
Mm-hmm.
It was all right. It was an enjoyable Christmas movie. It was a bit of fun. It's certainly better than a lot of fucking Christmas movies I've seen, but it's never going to be The Holiday or
sure.
Oh Christ, the Richard Curtis movie, Love Actually.
Yes.
Again, I saw a fucking article today, this very morning, about fucking, is Love Actually done now? Should we be watching Love Actually now? It's like, fuck off.
If you enjoy it, yes.
Yeah.
If you dislike it, no.
Stop fucking trying to make us, turn our backs on our fucking old.
Do you really think that like Christmas, of all times, when as mentioned previously, Hallmark exist?
Yeah.
Is this really the time of year to be questioning whether we should be watching stupid films? Because if you're like, oh no, this is too immature, or this is too silly, you're like, well, that's practically every Christmas movie out the window.
Well, it's problematic now, isn't it? There's a lot
of sorry, they were saying it was problematic.
Yeah, there's lots of problematic things in it, like the relationship between oh Christ, now I'm going to forget everybody's names. Keira Knightley and the guy from Walking Dead. I always see, the thing is I always call him Egg because he was in My So-Called Life, and he was called Egg. His character was called Egg in that.
Right.
And I always call him Egg, but these days nobody fucking knows what not My So-Called Life. This Life?
Oh yeah.
Anyway, he was in a great series in the sort of 90s that sort of loads was really popular, and I always know him as Egg from that. But everybody knows him as from The Walking Dead, which is easier, I suppose.
I think if you like a film, it's okay to watch it, and if you don't like a film, that's fine. You don't have to watch it. Yeah. I don't really see that there's an issue either way. Outside of that,
actually genuinely fucking hurting someone.
Isn't everything problematic to somebody though?
Yeah, exactly.
When you think about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just think just watch what you want and don't watch what you don't want.
It's
fine.
I haven't watched this yet, but I will be. I'm sure I will be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would honestly. This movie is. You know what you're getting. If you're into that sort of thing. You could certainly do worse. It was fun enough. There were some genuinely nice little moments, and Lindsay Lohan, for me, she's always been one of those tragedies because she had
a lot of potential.
Comments.
Yeah, so much potential. I agree.
She was such a great little actress,
and
then she sort of pissed it all away. And I think it's taken her a long time to sort of crawl any semblance of.
I think it's the same with a lot of talented child stars.
Yeah,
they lose their way. Unfortunately, there's not. I hope that these days there's more of more support in place in Hollywood for younger actors, because there seems to be a lot more younger actors that have yet to go off the rails.
Yeah,
which makes me think and hope, hey, maybe we've got a lid on this now. Maybe there is like some security in place to kind of help these kids.
In some cases, though, it's whether their parents are fucking good people.
Well, there is that, of course.
You get people like Daniel Radcliffe. His parents kept him grounded.
Yeah.
So he never. I think he never sort of went off the rails because his parents were like, no, and obviously. People like Lindsay Lohan and I think Drew Barrymore, they had parents that weren't really doing, the best things in the interest of the kid. They were,
but both seem to have turned out okay now.
Well, Drew Barrymore divorced her parent.
Yeah. I actually watched a thing on that the other day. Actually, funny enough.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Except for she's a little woker than I would like, but.
Yeah, I don't care.
I still have fun. She's still adorable.
Yeah, who cares? Cool. Well, I will probably, chuck that on at some point, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's good fun enough.
Feels like, Christmas Day or something, Christmas Eve. Just chuck on some silly movie. Sounds good. Do we do a movie we've both watched, or do I do the one movie I have watched that you haven't? That's the question.
Entirely up to you. I think I know the movie we've both watched.
I've watched 2 of the movies you've watched.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Because one of them I didn't know was out yet, and then you mentioned it, and I was like, oh my god, it's that movie! I really want to see that movie, and I watched it before work this morning, so...
Was it Subservience?
No, but we could do Subservience since you've mentioned it.
Should we do that one then?
Yes, let's do...
I have a feeling you were going to watch it when I mentioned it.
Yeah, well, I did watch it, so I hope you're happy.
Oh, you sound... Oh, okay.
No, I enjoyed it. I'm fucking around. I actually enjoyed this movie. It's like Megan if it was sleazy. So, in the near future, everyone drives normal modern cars, but it's the near future anyway, and there's these...
Next Tuesday.
Yeah, there's these robots. They look like humans. They've got like human-like skin, and they're basically butlers and what not. Yeah. They're called...
Did you see the show Humans?
No.
Gemma Chan and that?
No.
It was a really good fucking series that, well, the first 2 seasons were really good. It sort of petered out.
Oh, okay.
It was really good, and it was very similar to this.
Oh, cool.
But much better. It was really good.
Sure. Yeah. So effectively, lifelike androids. They're replacing many jobs in the world, and are particularly useful if you're lazy about childcare and stuff. You can get your robot to do it. And Nick and his wife Maggie are basically, well, I'm not sure if Maggie is even looking. No, they are. They were both looking for one. They're looking for a sim to basically help out because Maggie has a heart condition. She's going to need a heart transplant. And she thinks that Nick's going to need some help. So Nick goes off with his daughter, and they pick out Alice. Well, actually, because I thought this when they went in, and I was like, if I was this guy, I was like picking a sim, I'd be like, it has to be, it cannot be the one that looks like Megan Fox, because everyone's going to assume.
Yeah.
The assumption will clearly be, and I'm like, no, it will have to be the man one. The man one he sees when he goes in, I'm like, that would be the much more appropriate choice, because people are going to assume, dude.
I was actually impressed. They had like the full gamut of options.
Yeah.
You could have an older gentleman or an older lady or whatever you think.
I quite like that.
That was nice because usually whenever you see these things, they're nearly always like really young, sort of looking.
Yes.
Supermodel types, aren't they?
Yeah. No, I want like an Alfred Pennyworth
supermodel type, but
I want Alfred.
Options.
I want an Alfred Pennyworth kind of robot. That's what I want. That would be amazing. But anyway, it's actually his daughter who picks out Alice when Alice helps her because she disappears off. It's quite funny because he kind of goes in and he's like, I need some help with childcare, and then he turns around and the child's gone, and he's like, oh yeah, shit, see? But anyway, they pick Alice, and meanwhile Maggie is taken into hospital, so she's now in hospital, and it's now Nick, the daughter, and Alice. Alice is obviously wonderful. She's helping out with the household domestic tasks, and
there's also a small child as well.
Oh yes, sorry, and a baby, yes, and a newborn, or toddler, I guess. Yeah. So all is fine, except when you reset these robots, they turn into rapists. Which is an oversight. It is an oversight that they've...
I actually thought the setup for that particular bit was quite good, though.
I didn't mind it, actually. When it started going on like this, I was like, what the fuck? But then later on, they did explain it. I was like, okay, yeah, fine. I guess.
But I liked the run-up to it because they were watching Casablanca.
I liked all of that. Yeah, I liked that a lot.
That was actually nicely done. They're watching Casablanca, and she sort of... She starts talking about Casablanca, and he's like, do you know the movie? And she's like, well, I've never actually seen it, but I know all about it. And he basically tells her to wipe out all knowledge
of the film.
Casablanca.
Because she's got Wikipedia in her head.
Yes. So but to wipe out the knowledge, he has to reset her, and that's when it all starts going wrong.
Yes. I just don't. I think in this world you would probably reset them every now and again, and that there should be some safeguards in place. But okay, we need a film to happen. It's fine. I was expecting her to get like I was expecting her to get hit by a car or something would go wrong, and I guess this is as good a reason as any. And I
think that was a nice scene though. The whole Casablanca.
Loved it.
And I mean, it's always dangerous when you've got a movie that invokes other movies, especially something like.
I'm not going to compare this to fucking Casablanca though. Like, I think you're safe with that one.
No, you know what I mean though. It's sometimes when a movie.
If they were watching Megan, then it would be problematic.
You sort of go, why aren't I watching that fucking movie?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I get it, but I think this one was far enough away. Like, if they were watching Megan, then I would have been like, why am I watching this? I could be watching Megan.
Yes.
But I will say, I actually thought Megan Fox was pretty good in the role. I actually think she acted quite well as a robot in places.
I mean, so this is.
I know. I'm trying not to be insulting when I say that, because I genuinely do think she did a pretty good job.
I think what I would say is she was actually genuinely menacing.
Yes.
When she was doing the sort of
household chores. Like, she had a look about her where it was like, yeah, it's kind of creepy. Like, she is kind of weird and creepy.
She was suitably creepy and
yeah.
You know, when she does do certain things, you're like, oh god, I certainly, but I would be definitely fucking afraid of her. I would say the thing that I loved is she's got these amazing fucking nails.
Yeah, like these, talons.
You know, like coolest talons. But I don't think that would be very practical for a house robot.
No, it's a terrible idea.
It's a really bad idea.
There should have been a scene where they like retracted or something, you know?
That would have been cool.
Yeah.
There was one bit that I really loved that was let down by one thing at the end.
Okay.
So there was one little scene. Well, there's a couple of scenes that I liked, but there was one scene where, when the wife's having her surgery.
Yeah.
And the camera pulls back, and all of the surgeons are androids.
I thought she was gonna steal her heart. I was like, is this movie gonna seriously be like, Megan Fox has got your heart? And like, I was like, oh god, are they actually gonna do that? They did.
There was a moment later that where they.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
But this particular moment, so all the surgeons were droids.
Yes.
But they were like completely smooth, no hair,
and mute.
They had no mouths.
Yeah.
It's like completely. It was like really creepy. Do you know what ruined that moment?
What?
So there's like 5 of those robots,
something like that, yeah.
And they all look vaguely the same. They're all like completely hairless, and they've got in the mouths and stuff. When the heart was going into the, into the mum, the dude holding the bloody heart had a whole hairy hand. It's like,
oh no, I didn't even notice that.
That ruins the bloody illusion, doesn't it?
I did not notice that. That is quite bad.
Shave your hand, you useless twat.
Now, this movie is kind of fun trash.
Yes.
But I think one of the biggest faults of this movie, if I can bring in a fault, is that there's a side story involving Nick and his co-workers. Now, his co-workers work at a job site, the building site, and they all get laid off apart from Nick, because basically the law states you must have a human overseeing synthetics right now, yeah? So he's kept on because he's the foreman. All of the workers are laid off. And obviously Nick's friends with these people, and they're very bitter. One of them in particular is very bitter. This is great. The problem is that I wanted to watch that movie. That like instantly was more interesting to me than this domestic stuff. I was like, that is a much more interesting story. I kind of want a movie about that, not this.
I will say the problem with that storyline is that the only one who could act in all of those things was Andrew Whitt.
Well, yes, you need to.
All of the other actors were really poor.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the boss. He was terrible.
The boss was really bad, yes.
He delivered his lines as like he never fucking acted in
I thought he was a robot, but he wasn't.
That was funny. It was terrible. I thought Andrew Whitt, the guy who's playing Monty, I thought he was quite
great.
Good.
Yeah, I thought he was great.
Especially when he loses his shit. I thought he was actually quite good.
And there was other bits like when a slight spoiler, we go to, well, I won't say why, but we go to Monty's house and we see that oddly he has a sim himself, but it's clearly been
was...
abused, and it's like, okay, like he's taking this out on the sim, his frustration out on the sim, and so there's a lot of interesting bits where I'm like, oh, this kind of feels like this should have been the A plot, you know. If you got better actors for certain roles in that, I just think as a premise, I was like, that's really quite interesting, you know.
Give Humans a go, because it's
yeah, maybe I should.
There are similar things in Humans, and it's done much better.
Okay. Well, anyway, this movie, I thought overall, it was trashy, fun. I enjoyed it. I really did. I'm not gonna pretend like I didn't enjoy it.
I was very happy to see Madeline Zimmer, who plays the mum.
Oh, she was great.
She's great. I particularly liked, I thought, a really good scene between her and Megan before she was going in for the surgery.
Oh, that was great, yeah.
She was talking to her, and she was saying about...
he drinks too much, and make sure he doesn't hide the bottles, and
take his booze away from him. And Megan, not Megan, calling her Megan, that's...
I know, I can't help
Alice.
it.
Let's call her Alice.
Yeah.
When Alice says, "Oh, I couldn't do that. That's against my programming. I have to look after him." And Maggie says, "Yeah, but sometimes you have to do certain things when you're looking after, people. You have to like take away things to help them."
Well, it's all her fault.
It's actually a really nicely done scene between Megan Fox and Madeline Zimmer.
It was a very nice scene, and it was also like, I think you planted the seed for everything that kind of happens later.
Yeah, it does, exactly that.
It works well. Like it does work well.
And there was a couple of really, really, really nice little bits and pieces that I thought were just sort of fun, actually.
Yeah.
And one of the genuine horrors of this movie was when Nick sat on the bonnet of that car.
I know, and I was like, dude, you love this car. You're lovingly restoring it, and then you just sit on the bonnet. And I was like, so that bumper's just going to come off in a minute. Yeah. Like,
do not fucking sit on the bonnet of that car. I know.
I must admit, I thought the same.
I thought the end was really good. I mean,
I enjoyed it. Yeah.
You're not really, and no one's going to be fucking surprised.
Yeah, there's no shocks here, but it's really good. There are some great moments. Like I really liked the creepier moments for me were bits like when not the overt bits, but like the bits like when she was when Alice is reading to the daughter in her mum's voice and stuff like that, and it's like, oh god, that's really creepy and awful. And really but like you can see why a robot's just computed that would be soothing to her, and then it's the best thing to do for her, and it's like, oh god, that's really weird. I really liked this movie. It was, like I said, it knows what it is. It's very silly and trashy, and but it's a lot of fun.
And it's similar to the last movie I reviewed. It's a case of it's not great, but it's it's good enough. And the thing is Megan was way better. Megan is
Megan's a lot better
of the year last year, and because it was just so much fun, it was so just over the top and great. And Humans does it much better, and I think there's a Scandinavian series that does a similar sort of thing.
Okay,
but you could certainly do worse. I've seen much worse bloody AI movies.
Oh goodness, yes.
And actually, the core three performers are actually really good. There was some genuine moments. I've not seen Michael, is it Maroney or Marone before? The guy playing Nick. I think he's an Italian actor.
Yeah.
I've not seen him in anything before, I don't think.
I thought it was fucking Isaac at first.
Yeah, other than some of his language, obviously English not being his first language, other than some of the language problems, I think, he was actually quite good and really believable as the sort of...
I thought he was fantastic.
Dad who's trying his best, actually, and struggling to cope. Who has Megan Fox coming on to him every 5 minutes.
I thought there were some genuinely good scenes where he, where he was resisting that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I must admit, I thought the guy was Oscar Isaac at first. I was like, is that Oscar Isaac? So, like, is he like in this movie? But no, I thought he was good. I'm curious what else he's actually been in. I don't think I've seen anything of his.
No.
Just having a quick look. No, I haven't. Oh, he's a musician.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen anything with him. But I thought he was very good. Yeah, I'd be interested to see more of his work, actually.
Oh, I did see the Medicis, but I don't remember him in it. He's only in 2 episodes, so.
Ah. Yeah, I would recommend this one if you want some, kind of forgettable but fun.
Yeah, just a
kill an hour and a half
sci-fi movie. It was fun enough, and
yeah,
I like I said, all the core three performances were pretty good.
Yeah, I totally agree. So, what else have you watched?
So I have also seen Cuckoo.
So have I.
Oh, nice.
So this is the one I saw the trailer for.
Yeah.
And I think I said to you at the time, I was like, my God, this trailer is amazingly creepy and really cool. And then when you mentioned it, I was like, what is Cuckoo? And then as soon as I looked it up, I was like, oh my God, it's that movie. And then I watched it this morning before I started work because I was like, I really want to watch that movie. So
I think this is one of those sort of movies I saw the trailer for bloody ages ago.
Yes, I forgot about it.
I think it's released got delayed for some reason. So I think it should have been released earlier, but
yeah. Take it away.
Director Tillman Singer, stars Hunter Schafer. Now Martin Soskas. I can never know how to pronounce that dude's name. Always plays bad guys.
Yeah.
Always plays. Dan Stevens in quite possibly one of his creepiest fucking roles.
I agree.
Jessica Henwick, who I didn't recognise at first, plays Colleen Weng in Iron Fist.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I didn't realise that was her at all. So basically, we've got Gretchen, who is getting over the death of her mother.
Yes.
And she's moved with her father and her father's. You say new wife. It's not really new. They've been together for 8 years.
Yeah.
But it's the new wife and the new sister who is
she's mute.
8-year-old girl, little Alma.
She's mute.
Yeah, and they're moving to the Alps.
Yeah, it's like the Bavarian Alps, right?
Yeah, which is run by Dan Stevens' Herr Koenig. And I'm not even going to vaguely try and pronounce how the Germans do it.
Very early on, in one of his first scenes,
yeah,
he puts his hand on Gretchen's shoulder, and I was immediately like, ugh.
Yeah, your teeth start.
Yeah, immediately.
It's horrible. It's like, I love Dan Stevens, but
so do I.
He's fucking creepy.
Oh, he's awful. He's awful in this in a good way.
Yes, yeah, in a brilliant way. It's even when we first meet him and he leans into the car.
Yep.
And he starts talking to the dad, and it's like, oh, all right, step back a bit, mate. You're weirding me out here.
Yeah.
So it turns out that this resort is a bit weird.
To say the least.
Very surprised that Gretchen's there. It seemed to have been not planned that Gretchen was joining them.
Yes.
So Herr Koenig suggests that Gretchen works at the check-in. Yeah,
she's like receptionist, isn't she?
Yeah, to give her something to do, because there's not much to do around here during the summer. Is it the summer, he says, or can't remember? Yeah. So she agrees that...
But they must be finished by 10, right?
Yeah. Must be finished and locked up by 10 o'clock. And Gretchen she's really struggling. She clearly loved her mother. She's clearly sort of not...
There's some really great scenes with that as well, where she's like leaving voicemails on her mum's phone and stuff. It's really nice. I've seen
it in other movies, and I've heard people.
Yeah, but the performance was great. I mean,
the sort of the stuff she's doing, and and it doesn't take long for it to get quite creepy, because not only is he creepy, is Gretchen goes to the bathroom in the hotel sort of thing, and already it's like she's being stalked.
Yeah, because you get the person coming into the cubicle and stuff.
Yeah, she's there listening to her bandmate sends her the new tune and stuff, and she's listening to it, and there's the sort of weird footsteps and sort of banging on the cubicle trying to get in, while she's there, and it's like, wow, they got straight into this one. So obviously there's clearly something going on in this resort.
Yes.
This movie I absolutely loved.
I loved it less.
Oh, really?
If I'm honest. I didn't hate it. there's a lot I like about it.
Hmm.
I did start finding it quite tedious towards the end. I think it was it was just, you know, I think we've discussed this before, where you've got those movies where it's like mystery after mystery and we're not really explaining things. And sometimes they work for me, sometimes they don't. I think this almost worked for me. There's a lot I like about it, but overall I was like, it kind of, like, pacing wise, it kind of started losing me towards the end. I was like, oh, get to a point, can ya? But I did like it. I did like it. So I think I liked it, just not as much as you did. So, you know.
I loved the opening scene.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
The sort of, you know,
the cinematography's wonderful, actually. A lot of the shots are really, really good.
Shots are beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely.
And genuinely weird and sort of, you know, they put you on unease.
Do you know one of my biggest frustrations, and I don't see any way of fixing this, is that I wish they hadn't shown the bike scene in the trailer, because it's probably one of the strongest scenes. But also, if that hadn't been in the trailer, I probably wouldn't have watched it. So
that's it, yeah.
I don't know what to do about that. But it's still a wonderful scene. It just lacked the impact because I'd seen the trailer.
Yeah.
So I kind of knew where it was going.
I agree. I do agree with that. But like you said, it would have been harder to sell otherwise.
Yeah, totally. And it's a wonderful scene.
Yeah, it's a great scene. And Hunter Schafer, I'm not sure I've seen her in anything before. She's wonderful.
Her performance is fantastic.
So many parts.
I feel so bad for her. She gets hurt so much in this movie, like constantly. Anytime you think she's going to get somewhere, it just goes horribly wrong.
Yeah, it does this amazing job of letting you think, oh god, she's going to get away.
Yeah, like there's a scene where she meets up. The scene where she meets up with the girl that she kind of has like a fling with, and they're gonna like escape to Paris, and it's like, oh, please just let her fucking go.
Yeah, yeah,
like, please just let her leave.
It's every encounter leaves a mark on her.
Yeah. Yes.
You know,
yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
She, you know, from the very first sort of scratch she gets from her little sister.
Yeah.
You know, to
car crash.
The car crash and beyond. Each one is another notch.
Yeah, I mean, she is just
body.
Battered by the end of this film.
Yeah, absolutely. And there were moments. There was one particular moment. Not trying to give anything away.
Yeah, I'm trying not to either.
Let's say the moment in the swimming pool.
Yes.
Was genuinely like, oh my god, I fucking don't know whether she's going to get out of this.
Yes, which is great.
Yeah, I absolutely love this movie. I thought it was really good. I you know, Dan Stevens was.
Oh, he's wonderful in this.
Over the top creepy. He was.
I think it worked though. It wasn't.
It did.
Yeah.
And you know, it's not rocket science. I mean, the film's called fucking Cuckoo, for fuck's sake. So it's not rocket science to know what's going on. You only have to know anything vaguely about a cuckoo to know kind of what the plot is. But it's done with such flair and style. And the soundtrack's great. Mm-hmm. It's got this really cool bass-heavy soundtrack that I really liked, which I think some of the songs were written by the director as well. There was just some really good performances. I love the cop that turns up.
Yes, he's very good.
Who's investigating what's going on. You know, he again, not wanting to spoil anything. He there are certain things where you think, yeah, I kind of saw that coming. It was obvious, but it's done so well that you sort of forgive it, I think.
I think one of the things this film does do very well as well, which I do think is hard to do in a movie, is pulling off the my parents are assholes thing. Because quite often they do that in movies, and you're just like, shut up, kid. Your parents are doing what's best for you. I think that, is it Marton Koskas?
Yes.
He does. That performance is great. Where you're like, I can see his perspective, but I completely understand hers and why she feels neglected by this couple. Yeah. And especially in the wake of her mum's passing and stuff. It is like, yeah, like I think it does a very good job of that family dynamic to where you don't just feel like, oh, this kid's just being an idiot.
She's just
like,
being a stroppy
it's like,
teenager.
no, I get it. I totally get it. Because there were moments where I was like, to be honest, by now even I'd be thinking like, I'm just gonna leave. Like,
well, she's genuinely a fifth wheel. It's not just a case of, oh, I feel like a fifth wheel.
No, we see it. We see it all the time.
She's genuinely a fifth wheel. You know, the dad is so concentrating on his new wife and new daughter that really does neglect her.
Yeah.
He does seem confused when she sort of acts up and does stupid things, if you like, So yeah, it was a really cool performance, but by a great actor actually.
Yes.
One of my favourite roles of his was Equalizer.
Yes, yeah, he's great in that.
He's fucking creepy in that.
Yes.
And Dan Stevens is fucking great. I really love the fact that Dan Stevens has become this sort of horror guy.
Yeah, I still don't think he gets quite enough work.
No,
he is fantastic. I mean, I remember like since The Guest, really, he's been like properly on my on my radar because I loved that movie. That's a movie that you just have to fight. You're either going to go with it or you're not when that twist comes. But I loved that movie. But yeah, he's been great in a lot, in most things I've seen him and I've enjoyed him.
Yeah, he's a really cool actor, and like all the performances in this are really good.
Oh yeah, there's not a bad performance.
Yeah, Mila Lu, the playing Alma, the little girl, she's great. I mean, I really liked the end with Gretchen and Alma and how that unfolds at the end.
Yes.
When I mean, again, I'm not going to spoil anything, but the way that works is really beautiful, and I love the sort of how do I put this? I try not to spoil it. The way it unfolds.
Yeah.
I like the way that I liked what Alma did. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah, it worked well. I agree.
It was a really nice sort of I thought a really nice ending, a sort of an ending that worked really well, and the actual, let's say, creature.
Yes.
I think I think we're all established it's a creature feature. I was again genuinely fucking creepy and
yeah, there were some scenes that were very effective.
Yeah, and almost little more than just walking around.
Yeah.
Just really fucking creepy.
Mm-hmm.
I clearly loved this movie more than you did.
But I did like it though. I'm not. I didn't hate it or anything.
I thought I didn't find it dragged its.
It did for me. I think purely because for a while it was just like, oh, are we gonna get somewhere with this? Like it, and it may have just been the mood I was in this morning.
I thought it added to the confusion. I quite liked.
It did, and I was with that for a while, and then it kind of went a little too long for me. Okay. But ultimately, by the end, I was like, no, that was good. Like I liked it. I just didn't like it as much as you, I don't think. But I did like it. It's not like I hated it or anything.
No, I mean,
it's not a men's situation where I'm like, it's film of the year, and you're like, this is terrible. It's not that at all. I really did like this. I just don't think I liked it as much as you did. But it's fantastic cast, and yeah, I liked it overall. I thought it was very good.
Hunter Schafer, I thought was as Gretchen was phenomenal.
I think honestly that I don't know if I've seen her in anything before.
No, I haven't. I've just checked her list. But I haven't seen anything before.
I will say I will be looking out for her because her performance was amazing.
Watch her again because her performance was amazing. I love the fact that
she's in Blade Runner 2099.
Oh, okay.
That might be interesting.
I just love the fact that for me, I was with her 100%. I thought she was a great character. I loved, I understood all the things she was going through. I understood what, how she was feeling. There were some really touching moments. Yeah. There were some great little moments when she was kind of undermining the parents with the daughter.
Yes.
With Alma, which was really, really sweet and really lovely. And
I loved the bit when they were telling her to stop listening to music, and she just came out the balcony and she said, "It's fucking music! Like, just let her listen to some music."
Yeah, it's cool. Listen to music. I love that. And the moment with the message, let's say that.
Yes.
The moment with the message was genuinely touching.
Yeah, I agree.
It was really well done, and it sets up everything that happens later.
Yeah.
You know, I rather like my thoughts on Schaefer. I will definitely look out for Singer's next project, and I think he's making one other movie. I think this is his second movie, and his other movie I think is a horror as well. Luz, it's called
Luz, but it's not the Luz that I loved. It's different movie. But I am curious to see that movie. Yeah.
Yeah, same here. I'm going to go back and see that, and I'd be very happy to see what he does next, because I thought this was a great, genuinely creepy, really well put together, some really beautiful shots of the Alps and creepy angles and things, and yeah, great soundtrack. I loved it. I would highly recommend it. Maybe not so much for you.
I still recommend it, certainly. I absolutely recommend it. Yeah, no, I've made it sound like I didn't like hate it or anything. I did like it a lot. I just think you liked it more, but yeah.
Yep.
I had a few issues, but nothing that would stop me recommending it. Yeah, it's great. So, what else have you watched?
So I have also watched. Find it. I forgot what it's called. That Christmas.
I was going to say I've got it in front of me.
I don't remember what it was called. That Christmas. So this is another Netflix movie actually, and it's an animated movie.
Yes, obligatory animated Christmas movie.
Yeah, directed by Simon Otto, and it's one of the writers is Richard Curtis.
Yes.
So keeping with the the Love Actually thing.
Bloody cast on this.
There's even a clip of Love Actually in this movie.
Oh really?
Yes, there is. Yeah.
I will say, while I was putting this together, the bloody voice cast is amazing.
Oh, the voice cast is wonderful, isn't it? So we've got Brian Cox as Santa, Bill Nye is the Lighthouse Bill, Gaz Khan, Fiona Shaw, Jodie Whittaker, Rhys Darby, Lolly Adefope, Sindhu V, Rose Cavaliero, Catherine Parkinson. It's a bloody wonderful cast. So this is, we've got is it Wellington on Sea, I think the place is called. Yeah, Wellington on the Sea. So the small sort of little island town of Wellington on Sea is basically about to have its Christmas, and this huge storm comes in, sort of wrecking what's happening. And we're introduced to sort of our main. I mean, actually, there's quite a lot of characters, but I guess the main one is not Sam. Is it Danny? I think it's Danny. So he is sort of new to town. He's not blending in very well. He's doing his best to sort of try and fit in with all the kids. He's got a crush on Charlie. I think it's Charlie, or is Charlie the bad one? There's two sisters. There's one bad sister, and Charlie I think is the bad one.
Yeah,
Sam's the good one. I'm fucking forgetting which kid's named what now. But there's twins. There's one's a bad sister, one's a good sister. He's fallen in love with the good sister, who's sort of nervous and jittery and quite sweet. And then there's the bad sister who likes to pull pranks and is proper tomboy running around, doing weird stuff. So our main kid, he's from divorced parents. His dad is away, and he's living with his mum, who's played by Jodie Whittaker, who is a nurse. And she's always busy, so she's hardly ever around. So he's a bit, basically he's an 80s kid. He gets to kind of do his own thing, and he makes his mum her lunch and stuff. And I love they've got this he's got post-it notes everywhere. She communicates through post-it notes basically, which is quite funny because he sort of talks to them while he's reading them.
Mm.
And there's a brilliant moment where it's like, don't be late, and you look over to the sort of clock on the wall, and there are 3 post-it notes on this next to this clock, and one says you're going to be late, one says you're nearly late, and then it says late. I really liked it, and there's a rather sort of stern teacher, played by Fiona Shaw, called Miss Trapper, who is a vague sort of nightmare, but you know, clearly has a heart of gold. And basically, the families of a bunch of the kids, they're going to be left alone for a bit in the one of their houses while the mums and dads go to a wedding.
Right.
So they've gone off to this wedding to sort of, you know, have fun and they'll be back later, and they've left the oldest child in charge. Bernadette, I think it is. Bernadette's in charge, and while that happens, of course, the big storm comes in, and the parents get cut off. They can't, you know, they crash the van that they're in, and they get cut off, and the kids are sort of left alone, and they realize they're on their own, but they decide they're going to have a better Christmas than their parents usually plan, because they don't want to watch the movie, and they don't want to go for the walk, and they don't want to eat the sprouts and stuff like that. So while this is happening, of course, you've got Santa narrating the movie, kind of. You have him being shown the way to this through the storm by Bill Nye's character, the Lighthouse Bill, and it's how Santa creatively comes up with solution presents for what's going on in these kids' lives and stuff. And there's a nice little moment with the bad sister, which I really was really sweet. So it does feel very Richard Curtis, this, which I really like. Your mileage with Richard Curtis, you know, will
yeah.
I think it's based on children's books that he's written. So
okay.
There's at the start of this movie, the kids are putting on a play, sort of Christmas play, and they're doing it with a difference. And the amount of time they mention climate change and veganism or fucking not eating turkeys and stuff and stuff, my eyes were twitching, and I was thinking, oh, I think I might have to fucking end this. And
oh no!
And then they stopped, and it sort of calmed down, and I was like, oh, thank fuck for that. I was really getting annoyed with that fucking bullshit. But it settled down to be a genuinely sweet, genuinely lovely Christmas movie that had the whole, you know, messages a Christmas kids movie should have about, you know, family and looking after each other and you know, making allowances for the fact that, you know, maybe your mum needs to work, and maybe, you know, more than you would like, but you have to remember it's just as hard on her as it is you, and it was some lovely little moments, and there's some there was some beautiful, like, slapstick physical comedy. There's one particular kid who keeps walking into doors and windows and stuff, which, you know, again, your humor will mileage will vary, but I found bloody hilarious. Or there's even a moment where Santa gets nadded, which is funny. I really liked it in the end. It was, again, just really sweet and fun, and the relationship between Mrs. Trapper and Danny was really good, because they, little spoilery, but they both realise that each other are lonely. You know, there's a lovely moment where Mrs. Tapper sat in her living room, and she opens up this box full of memories, and the first scene you see her doing it, she opens the box and she looks at this album of photos with, I think it's 1981 on it, which and she goes to touch it, and then she stops herself and puts the book closes the box and puts it away, and then later you come and again. It was so beautifully done. It was really heartfelt. And Fiona Shaw, I mean, is fucking Fiona Shaw. She's awesome. But even just voicing this so much pathos to this wonderful character who kind of saves the day in certain ways. And there were some lovely moments. There was even her sort of backstory seems to, I think 81, is that Falklands?
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
Just a little spoilery. Her intended clearly died in that conflict, and you get this sense that she's been on her own for since then, and you just have these lovely moments where she's like looking across the road at Danny on his own, and they can both see each other's loneliness, but neither of them really wants to sort of be around each other to do things, but it's really sweet the way it unfolds. And Bill Nye was underused. I think like Lighthouse Bill had a very small part, and it felt a little like, oh come on, you could give him a bigger part than that. It's almost a waste of it was a waste of Bill Nye. Brian Cox's Santa was perfect. It's again, fucking Brian Cox is what would you say? I'm not sure that man could give a bad performance. So it was really good. I really liked it. It's not going to be for everyone, but I felt that it was a genuinely good Christmas movie with some really nice messages and some really nicely done family dynamics that weren't didn't feel like they were trying to push anything. The whole climate thing was just I think really just my knee-jerk reaction to that.
Sure.
Thing.
Yeah.
I thought I think if it would have carried on through the whole movie. I mean, obviously the particular girl, that's her thing. So it's like, okay, fine. That's your thing. That's good. If everyone was doing it and it was a constant thing, it would have been fucking annoying. But thankfully it wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah, the animation was great, and I think the director had previously worked on Kung Fu Panda and How to Train Your Dragon and Flushed Away.
Okay, so they got pedigree.
Yeah, exactly. He knows what he's doing. I think he even worked on Love, Death and Robots, which I fucking love.
Oh, that was fantastic. Yeah.
So yeah, I really liked it, and it genuinely feels the humor feels very Richard Curtis. Kid-friendly Richard Curtis, I think is probably the best way to put it. So I think if you like Richard Curtis type movies, and you want to see something that definitely kids I think will love, because all the characters were really good. They felt like genuine kids to me anyway. I'm an old duffer, and what do I fucking know? But I liked it. I really enjoyed it, and I would recommend it to my nieces, let's say.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah, I mean, it looked charming to me, and like I said, with a cast like that, it's fantastic. Well, another film with a terrific cast is The Critic.
Okay.
From 2023, although I think it's only just come out over here. Starring Ian McKellen, and a wonderful cast: Gemma Anderton, Mark Strong, Ben Barnes, all kinds of wonderful actors. This is a film set in 30s London, I think 34, and stars Ian McKellen as Jimmy, who is a film critic for the Daily Chronicle. It's like a tabloid, and it's run by this well, this old guy who clearly has Jimmy's clearly in favor with. Jimmy's kind of got a very inflated sense of his own importance at the newspaper. Like he at one point says he is the paper. He's like, I am the paper. I'm untouchable. And he particularly seems to delight in delivering scathing reviews, particularly towards Gemma Anderson's Nina, who is a theater actress that he constantly says is basically talentless every time she's.
I've seen the trailer and I love the
some of his quips are amazing. She
confronts him and says, "You've called me both fat and too skinny. You've called me this.
Yeah,
you've called me that."
Yeah. He seems to he has like a cult following, I guess, for his reviews, particularly his scathing reviews, and he seems to really delight in the choice of words he uses to kind of knife his victims, you know. But the owner passes away, and his son takes over, and his son basically tells him he needs to tone down the like kind of vitriol, and he begrudgingly changes one of his reviews. But Jimmy is a gay man. He he's very openly gay in the 1930s, to the point that it's kind of an open secret within the newspaper. Like, people in the newspaper know about it, but obviously they're like, well, whatever, as long as you don't get caught. But he does. He gets caught by some fascist cops, and obviously in the 30s, it's illegal. Yeah. But he is shown kind of several times in the film. He does kind of flaunt this in front of everybody. He does this to some literal fascists on the streets, which is a wonderful scene. And then ultimately he does get caught, and after getting caught, that's the excuse the boss has to basically get rid of him from the paper. And at which point he enlists Nina, played by Gemma Anderton, and basically says, well, if you will join me in this Faustian plot that I'm concocting, then I will give you amazing reviews, and your life will be wonderful. I will get my job back at the newspaper, and you will get good reviews forever. Which she agrees to do, and we go off from there. I thought this film has the cast of this film are far better than this film, if that makes sense. Unfortunately,
that's not good.
Well, there's a lot to like in it, particularly Ian McKellen's performance and Gemma Anderson's performance, both fantastic.
You keep saying Anderton, it's Arterton.
Arterton, sorry, Arterton. And their performances are fantastic. I think, unfortunately, for me at least, the first half of this film, while really entertaining, primarily due to Ian McKellen, it feels like it's kind of going nowhere. The plot, the plot that's actually the Faustian plot, which is kind of the core central point of the film, happens about halfway through the film. So the first half is kind of like, it's not really going anywhere. There's like some real pacing issues. And it's one of those movies where it's like, it's not terrible. It's just kind of mediocre. It's kind of it's kind of billed itself as a thriller, and I would say it's more of a melodrama. Really, like there's not much of a thriller to it. It's not terrible. It's very average, but with a terrific cast.
Yeah.
So I would certainly recommend it when it comes to streaming. It's certainly worth a stream. I'm not sure it's worth paying money to see at this stage, unless you're really into that kind of, if you're into 30s.
I saw the trailer and thought I might give that a go.
I think you'd probably like it. I didn't hate it. I thought it was quite average, is what I would say. But average isn't necessarily bad. It's certainly not terrible, and the performances carry a lot of the script, I think.
Yeah.
Because there are some terrific performances. And the cast is pretty well stacked.
McKellen basically, have you ever seen the series Vicious with Ian McKellen and
Yes.
What's his bloody name? I forget his bloody name now. It's a really funny. You know, they play a couple of very bitchy gay couples who are a bit posh, and I think they're both actors, aren't they? It's been a while since I've seen it, but I think they're both actors who are just really horrible, but really funny, and I really like them. And it looked to me like he was kind of channeling a similar character in this.
Yeah, I think that's the that's the thing. It's kind of it works. It works well enough. And I think it would. You know, I was thinking about is it Notes on a Scandal, the Judi Dench movie?
Oh yes.
Where it was, I think that movie was almost worked better because Judi Dench wasn't known for those kind of roles. Whereas here, the kind of charm you might get from seeing Ian McKellen act this way is kind of lost because Ian McKellen's done this quite a few times before. He's played the kind of asshole.
Yeah.
So it's lessened, I think. But yeah, it's fine. It's certainly not bad. I think it certainly has pacing issues. The first half feels it's entertaining because of the cast.
Yeah.
And because of some of the scenes, but you do wonder where it's actually going, and then it kind of finally gets to the point about halfway through. But yeah, it's okay. Yeah, mediocre is what I would say, but not terrible by any stretch, and certainly worth a look if it comes to Netflix or if it comes to Amazon or something. Yeah, give it a go. There's certainly worse ways to spend your time, but probably my least favorite of the films I have seen this week for sure.
Okay. Derek Jacobi was the actor I couldn't remember in Vicious.
Oh yeah, Derek Jacobi's fantastic and everything too.
They're both wonderful in that series. It's a really good. Yeah, I thought this looked pretty good. I mean, like you said, the cast.
The cast is stellar. Yeah,
so good. I mean, Roman Goria, I love it. Ron Cook. Yeah, what a.
I mean, Ian McKellen's performance is terrific. I mean, I think I could listen to that guy talk and act all day, you know.
It's another one of those actors that you know isn't.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever put in a bad performance. So.
No, absolutely. And there's a good movie in here. I think it's just got some pacing issues, to be honest. I know it's based on a book, but apparently it's very loosely based on the book. But as I've never read the book, I can't really speak to, you know.
Yeah. So is it a true story then, or is it?
I think it might be based very loosely. I'm not 100% sure, if I'm honest. Okay. I can look it up though. Let's have a look. It's based on Curtain Call. I'm not sure if that's a true story or not. I wonder if it's like a fictional but based on.
Yeah, that's what I was
someone's life kind of thing.
One of those stories where they didn't want to say who it really is.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe like, if we said it in the 30s, we'll.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing anything about it being a true story, so I don't know. It's written by Anthony Quinn.
Oh. I presume not the actor Anthony Quinn.
No. No, he's an author. Okay, so Anthony Quinn is actually the film critic for The Independent, or was. Okay. So maybe it is somewhat based on certainly life experiences, if nothing else. And then I guess he's just chucked it in the 30s. And obviously, saying it in the 30s makes it much more interesting from the homosexual aspect of the movie.
Yeah, certainly.
That certainly makes it a lot more interesting. And you know, it is great seeing McKellen kind of stand up to these fascists on the street and stuff. Yeah, there's certainly some great scenes. It just feels a bit lost in the first half before it finally gets there. But it's worth a watch anyway.
Yeah, I'll like you said, I'll wait till it comes out on streaming and I'll watch it then.
We'll talk about it then.
Yeah.
Anyway, should we move on to some news? Because there's been some great stuff.
There has been, yeah.
Well, where do you want to start?
Should we start with 28 years later?
the best trailer I've seen this year.
Best trailer I've seen in probably about 3 years.
I don't know why I wasn't expecting much from this film.
No,
honestly. And this trailer, I am like 1,000% back on board now.
The thing is it's one of those sort of things that you think, right? One, the first movie is fucking excellent.
Yes.
The second movie is good.
Yes.
And when they announced this, I thought, okay, I'm on board. I'm happy with. I'm more than happy to see what they do.
Yeah, and in the back of my mind, I was kind of like, well, if you've left it this long, hopefully you've got a really good idea.
Yeah, agreed.
There is always the fear that it's not that, and they're just cashing in later on. But yeah.
Yes. But my word, what a fucking trailer!
This is a textbook example of how to have a nice, decent length trailer that doesn't spoil anything, but gets you very excited. I loved every frame of this trailer.
And bloody good use of Kipling as well.
Yes, yes.
Boots fucking poem, Jesus Christ. Like, wow, that was stunning.
So, yes, I am 100% on board.
Yeah, and I don't know whether that... The consensus at the moment seems to be that one of the rising corpses in the trailer is Cillian Murphy's character.
Well, I did wonder. I'm not sure.
I mean, it does kind of look like him, but I don't know whether it is or not. It's like maybe it's just an accident that it looks like him.
Yeah.
Like it's just it just happens to look like Cillian Murphy.
I love this though. It's so nice to have a trailer that's not shown everything to where we know everything. People are speculating or excited.
I mean, I must admit, I'd be a little upset if it is Cillian Murphy because I quite like the fact that he ends up he has a kind of happy ending.
Yeah. I guess we'll find out, but
yeah,
I've gone from and like you, I thought 28 Days Later was superb.
Yep.
And I thought 28 Days Later was fine. It wasn't terrible. Enjoyed it, but I wasn't chomping really at the bit for another one.
The moments, the opening of the second one is really good.
Oh, wonderful! Yeah.
The scene where he goes in to see his wife, is really good. And then when he subsequently comes back a bit later to see his wife, as it were.
Yes.
Those I guess anything with Robert Carlyle and it was really good.
Robert Carlyle.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? All the scenes with Robert Carlyle are fucking amazing. I thought it kind of loses its way towards.
I completely agree, and I wasn't chomping at the bit for another one, and I knew this was announced, and I was kind of like, okay, sure, but having seen this trailer now, I'm like, wow. This has jumped to near the top of my list of films I want to see. So, well done.
I'm actually happy that Aaron Taylor-Johnson is kind of coming back as a because I liked him. When he's in things like Kick-Ass and stuff, and he was in some really nice movies, and he's a really good actor. And then for something happened, and he seemed to sort of disappear for a while, or he just wasn't in prominent enough movies. And then he sort of in recent years, he seems to have come back. I mean, I fucking loved him in Bullet Train.
Yes,
he's so fucking good in that.
That film was so good.
I'm probably not going to watch Craven.
No,
because that just looks fucking awful, and it doesn't look like they're really doing justice to the character of Craven, which pisses me off.
I'll put Craven on the Morbius list.
Yes, I've not seen it.
Oh, I've seen it. I saw it when I was doing some washing, because it was on Netflix.
It's a vampire movie, and I like the character. I'm one of the few.
If you like the character, I definitely wouldn't watch it.
People that like Morbius, I like the character, but I hate fucking what's his name.
I wouldn't watch it. If you like the character, I definitely wouldn't watch it.
Yeah, no, I know, that's the thing. I know.
It's going to make it even worse.
Raven is one of Spider-Man's greatest enemies he's not a widely known enemy. He's not one of the really big ones. But the story, Craven's Last Hunt, or is a fucking great story. The stuff that he does to suits the Spider-Man. Basically, he's just this lunatic hunter that decides that he's hunted everything and he's going to hunt Spider-Man. And I wouldn't spoil it because it's fucking brilliant. If you haven't read that story, go and find it because it's really good. What he ends up doing to Spidey and what he does himself is fucking cool. It's a really good story. And subsequently how it ends is like, fuck. They would never do that, I don't think. So what they've come up with is like, well, it's like, it's not even Craven. What's the fucking point? It's weird.
Yeah.
But having said that, Aaron Taylor Johnson looked really good in this. Jodie Comer is in it. I mean, all we saw was a brief couple of seconds of her face, really. Ray Fiennes looks suitably scary. Yeah, I'm totally on board with this. It looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Severance season 2.
Yeah,
another wonderful trailer.
Another really good trailer. And that first fucking season was so good. It's a really good bloody show. Apple's another one of those things that seems to
everything they do seems to be pretty good quality to me.
I was going to say they seem to be a bit hit and miss because they've done.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
it might just be what I've seen that I've enjoyed, but
they've put out some truly awesome stuff, and that's one of them. I think Silos Apple as well, and I'm yet to see the second season yet, but I will definitely be watching that. Yeah, fucking hell, what a trailer! And I think that Disparu said, that something I really agree with it is that they really have to start giving answers in this season. That we have to.
Oh, I completely agree. There comes a point in all of these kind of shows where it's like, no, you need to start giving us something.
Yeah.
You can't just keep piling mystery because we know where that ends up, lost.
Because we're we know what we're doing. We know what we're doing. We don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, you never knew what you were doing. I knew from season 2 you didn't know what you were doing.
Fucking hell, man. That Lost. Jesus. Fucking pile of crap that turned out.
Oh, I gave up very early on.
I stayed with it longer than I probably should have.
Yeah, my friend stayed with it until the end and then was like, yeah, it was. You were right. And I was like, oh, okay. Because I remember when she watched the finale, I asked her the next day. I was like, so? And she was like, yeah, you were right. I was like,
it was everything you said. Yeah,
it was exactly. Yeah, and I was kind of disappointed because I was hoping she'd say, "Oh no, they actually did a really good job," and I was like, "Okay, cool." Then I would have watched it, but I gave up when there was a scene with a shark with a barcode on it, and I was just like, "You're making shit up now. You're just clearly never going. You will never explain why this shark has a barcode on it ever."
No,
and they didn't. So. Yeah, but Severance season 2, I'm excited. I hope, like you said, they give us some answers. But as a trailer, superb.
Yeah, again, all the performances in that first season were fucking amazing. I really loved, the how they handled how different the personalities of the same person is.
Yeah,
it's really cool. I really enjoyed it. Really, and I'm what. Really great trailer, and I'm really looking forward to season 2.
Another trailer that I'm like, I thought was a good trailer. I don't know if it's going to be a good film, but I kind of want to see it because I thought the trailer was cool. Was The Return, the Ralph Fiennes movie?
Oh, I don't think I haven't seen that.
It's a retelling of the Odyssey. Effectively. Okay. I thought this looked really good. I guess we'll wait until you've seen it and we'll talk about it. I think it might already even be out, but the trailer came up the other day and I was like, yeah, that looks quite good. I mean, again, we were just discussing Ralph Fiennes. I mean, Ralph Fiennes in anything is going to be good, but
so it's a proper Odysseus thing.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Oh wow! I didn't even fucking know this movie existed.
No, well, it came up as a random trailer the other day, which is why I thought it must be a new thing. But then just looking it up, it looks like at least it's been reviewed by Critic, so maybe it's already around. I don't know. I'll see if I can track it down and give it a watch.
Juliette Binoche is Penelope. How cool!
I know. Yeah, I was like, this looks really good.
They've worked a couple of times together.
So yeah, I'm curious.
Interesting to see an older.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And Penelope, I'm totally on board with that. I haven't seen the trailer, but
yeah, I thought the trailer looked interesting. So, but Ralph Fiennes does tend to win me over when I see him in stuff. I'm like, okay, Ralph Fiennes, cool.
Actually, a trailer that I did like was for a Netflix show coming in January called American Primeval.
Okay, I've not seen this.
It's a sort of basically the birth of the West sort of stuff.
Oh, cool.
Taylor Kitsch is in it. We've got Betty Gilpin kind of sold it for me because I love Betty Gilpin. It's got what's his name? Coates. Annoyingly, he's not on the straight list here. Is it Kim Coates? Looks like he's playing Brigham Young, which is fucking interesting. Yeah, it looks really brutal. Looks really, really cool. So I thought that was quite a cool trailer. And yeah, that's coming in January. I'm a sucker for Western.
Oh, me too.
Or expansionist sort of stuff. So yeah, I really would looking forward to that. Chris Evans is coming back to the MCU.
Yeah,
let's face it, not a fucking surprise after they brought Robert Downey Jr. back.
No, I mean, if they can afford to bring him back, I think they can afford to bring anyone back at that stage. Yeah. I think Chris Evans was planning to go behind the camera, but I don't think that's worked out so well for him. So I guess maybe he's changed his mind, or there's just enough dollars there to.
Yeah, maybe he's going to use this to actually fund that or something. I don't know.
It does feel kind of sad to me when it's like, I guess I'm sure pay had a lot to do with it, or the studio's refusal to continue to pay them.
Yeah.
But it does kind of feel like both Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans both kind of insinuated that they were fatigued and kind of done with it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, it just feels like I know that all actors are mostly doing this for the money, but when it's so blatantly, I can't be bothered, but I'm coming back for the money. It's like, oh, really?
Robert Downey Jr. That he sort of left the MCU and then was going to start doing.
I think they've all realized,
and I think most of the movies that he did after kind of flopped.
I think they've all realized that. It's like he went on to do Dr. Dolittle, and it was like not so much. And I mean, Oppenheimer did very well, but then he wasn't the star. He was
he was my favorite.
He was wonderful. Yeah, it was a great performance.
He was fucking horrible and he did such a good job because you totally fall for his character.
Yes.
And then, fuck it, spoil it. It's been out for a while.
Yeah. It's a true story as well. I wouldn't worry.
Yeah. When his character is like, his motivations are revealed, you're like, oh, you fucker.
Yeah. He was great in that.
Fucker. You totally fucked him. Yeah, he was the best thing in that for me.
Yeah.
I guess he's coming back as Doom, which is the
Iron Man.
Stupidest
he's
fucking
coming
thing.
back as Iron Man. Let's not pretend it's anything but Iron Man.
And the general consensus is that Chris Evans is probably coming back as Nazi Cap.
Okay.
Which is like, oh, really? Because that went well.
Was it? Yeah, that was like hated, wasn't it? That I never read it, but I
mean, I think there's like a certain audience that really liked it, but overall, I think people fucking hated it.
I thought it went. Yeah, I seem to remember it being really negatively received, but I've never been a Captain America fan, so I wouldn't have read it anyway.
It's a cool image.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
The picture of Cap saying "Hell Hydra" was kind of cool, but
as an Elseworld story, I'm sure it's great.
It felt like a very far away thing, It's like bloody Red Sun, which again is Elseworlds is fine.
Love Sun. Yeah. Really but when you do it to your main character and make it canon, it's kind of a problem.
Yeah. So
I mean, I'm not particularly bothered either way. They can do what they want. I'm probably not going to watch it. So
it just feels fucking desperate, doesn't it?
It does. They just need to reboot. They just need to accept they need to start over now. Because you've kind of ruined it as well. Mm-hmm. Like you've kind of tarnished the legacy from all the garbage you've churned out since like Infinity War. You just need to reset now. Start over, and preferably give it a rest, and then do it in like 5-10 years time.
Weird. The thing is, I think what they should be doing is they've got a perfect opportunity to start the X-Men
in the 60s.
They've got the X-Men for fuck's sake.
Reboot the MCU and set it in the 60s, and then you can go forward in time from the 60s. That would be amazing.
Yeah, you start with
Fantastic
X-Men
Four
and Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
and then you move on from there,
and you could have a proper timeline going from the 60s all the way to modern day.
Yeah,
that'd be amazing.
And the thing is you could even mix with that. You could even mix in like contemporary Marvel movies anyway to just hit
of course. And also you could just be like, well, mutants just fucking live longer, it's fine, you know.
Yeah, well, they've kind of established that.
Yeah.
Anyway. A lot of, that's the way they've explained a lot of things. It's like, oh yeah, most mutants just live longer, it's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly if you're Wolverine, you just fucking live forever, really. But yeah, it's a kind of a wasted opportunity because they've done fuck all with it. But I think that would be the way to go if they wanted to genuinely. I guess the question is whether you would trust them to do a good job of it right now.
I don't know. I mean,
things are turning slowly, but we'll see, won't it?
It just feels like they ran out of decent ideas and just kind of tired now. Just needs a rest. I genuinely think it just needs to rest.
Well, the annoying thing is it became more about dealing the message and stuff like that. So,
well, that's I mean, sure, and that's always a problem. Like all good science fiction should have a message. You just need good writing to back it up, and we've always said that. If you've got a message, I don't care what your message is. If it's well directed, well acted, well written, I'm gonna like it. Whether I agree with that message or not, it doesn't matter. If you've written it well, I'll be like, yeah, cool. The problem is they kind of lazily shoved the message into everything without actually writing a decent story around it.
And just made it about, change things that didn't need to be changed. The annoying thing is that there were so many good comics that they could just adapt.
Yeah.
It's not fucking rocket science.
No, they've been around a while. Marvel's been around a long time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There are plenty of fucking good stories that you could just fucking adapt.
Yeah.
Stop fucking trying to shoehorn things that shouldn't be in them and do what the story is. It's just fucking annoying at this point. But there, anyway. Moving on to some good news.
Mm-hmm.
Henry Cavill looks like he is settled whatever was fucking going on with Amazon.
Was there ever an issue? Or was that just people assuming there was an issue? I was thinking about this today because I got the impression there were huge issues. And then when I thought about it, I was like, has either side ever said there were issues?
I think...
Maybe he did at some point? I don't know. Because I don't really remember, but...
Nothing was announced. That's the problem.
Right,
it's
okay.
Been, like, a long time. Nothing was announced. Everything looks like... I think Amazon couldn't seem to agree on what they were going to be doing.
Yeah.
And I think it was getting to the point where Cavill...
Printing money, that's what you're going to be doing if you do this right.
Yeah. Well, I think Cavill was being felt... I think it felt like he was going to be fucking screwed over again.
Okay. He has got a history of that, unfortunately.
Yeah. And I think it was just stretching further and further away from anything happening. And I think people were just waiting for
an answer.
A final announcement that said, yeah, no, it's not happening.
Well, it's back on board now, so...
And now it looks like whatever happened it seems that something has been settled. We still don't have details on what it's going to be.
Well, you have as much as you know that Cavill is a super fan who is willing to walk away from a project if they don't do justice to the thing he loves. So I would suggest things are looking pretty positive. If you're a 40k fan.
It's not fucking hard. Just fucking adapt one of the 300 or so books that exist in the Warhammer universe.
It's been around a while, yeah.
I mean, the biggest problem they're going to have is it's not going to be fucking cheap. And
no, it's certainly not going to be cheap.
And there's a lot. It's going to be fucking effects heavy, no matter what they do. Even if it's, I mean, I guess
Amazon have got the money; they can afford it.
If you did something in like a Guard, Imperial Guard series that was just very low key, all you need is a bunch of guys in uniforms and stuff. And you don't. If you do it right, you don't really need to show the bad guys that much. But it would probably be very unsatisfying for a lot of fans.
People are going to want spectacle. That's what.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what. As I understand 40k, and I have limited understanding of 40k, it is just edgelord spectacle. That's what people want.
Kind of a lot of it.
You know, there's and I don't mean that in an insulting way. It looks cool. Like everything looks like a metal cover. Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
It's great.
The thing is that what I like about the 40k universe is it can be very varied. There, you've got sort of small stories of like the Guardsmen and stuff like that.
Sure, yeah.
Fucking great big epics with shitloads of Space Marines and stuff. And to be fair, the Space Marine stuff for me would probably be the most boring stuff you could do.
It's probably the easiest point to start with, though, isn't it? I think
quite possibly
from a mass appeal. Because everyone. The like Ultramarines are like the poster boys of the franchise.
Smart, yeah.
So you kind of feel like that would be the thing where they're like, well, start there.
I hate the Ultramarines. I know people fucking love the Ultramarines. I've always hated the Ultramarines. Oh,
I don't have an opinion.
Bone of contention. I mean,
I'm assuming it's much like BattleTech, though, isn't everyone an asshole?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, that was my assumption.
I think probably the nicest race is the Tau, I think.
Right.
But I don't imagine we're going to see Tau yet. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people, because it's also a case of what's Cavill going to play, and I think the main thoughts are either Caiaphas Cain or is it Eisenhorn? Who's an Inquisitor?
I wouldn't know.
So those are two really good options if that's the case. I would love to see a Gaunt's Ghosts series because that's probably my.
Didn't he have a character in mind? I seem to remember seeing him do an interview once where he said, "I'd love to play," and I don't follow 40k to know the character.
I don't remember him specifically saying a character.
I thought he was asked once, and he before the project was even a thing. I think he was asked, and he kind of said what his,
Didn't know. I don't remember. But this could be so fucking good.
I mean, I'm not a 40k person, but I would love to watch a 40k movie or series. I'd totally watch it. So yeah.
Not so much. I mean, I did actually have a couple of armies.
I had like a minor army. I never played it. I just painted stuff.
Yeah.
As a kid, I just liked painting the stuff. As I said many times before, I did BattleTech.
Yeah.
Instead of 40k.
Uh-huh.
And most people I know went 40k and seem to still love it to this day. So I'm guessing it's good. But I'm at the point in my life now where I'm 40. I haven't got time for the amount of lore I need because I'm one of those people. I need to get like deep in the lore. If I get into something like that, and I just look at it and I'm like, oh my god, I can't.
If you want a really good set of books, the Gaunt's Ghost books are fucking awesome.
Okay, well maybe I'll give those a go in the run up to.
It's about a commissar who has got these bunch of guardsmen,
right?
Who are what are they called? The first and last. Basically, Imperial Guard units usually come from a planet, right?
Yeah.
So, and they're usually like a certain type. So you've got ones that you've got like the Krieg guys who are basically like look like First World War soldiers with gas masks and all that sort of stuff. And then you've got other ones, like the jungle fighters who all look like Sylvester Stallone from Rambo, or Rambo 2, I should say, really.
Of course.
And his particular group are very small because basically their planet was fucking wiped out.
Right.
And basically he's in command of the guys that are left. And they're really fucking cool. Like every character is great, and Gaunt himself is really fucking cool. It's a really good set of books.
One of the things I watched a video a while ago because I found this guy, and it wasn't this guy. It was a video by someone else. But there's a guy on YouTube. If you ever come across him, he talks about the 40k universe, but as David Attenborough.
Oh yeah.
That amused me for a couple of weeks, and as a result of that, I got like suggested this other video, like a lore video.
Yeah.
and it was about is it the dreadnoughts, the mech things?
Yeah.
And that stuff sounds disgusting. I was like, this is amazing. Like, that's so horrible.
Yeah, most of it's fucking horrible.
Like the fact that they're like basically when a Marine is like fatally wounded, they're just taken apart and shoved in this thing, and then they're just left. They're switched on every couple of thousand years to go fight.
Yeah.
It just sounds awful. Yeah.
It's a really horrible existence. But it's really cool. And there's some stories that have used that really well, actually.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Of what it is to live like that.
So yeah, I'm curious as a newbie to the 40k thing, really. You know, I know what a rhino tank is.
Yeah, I mean,
that's about
it.
Always,
the thing about for me, the thing about the 40k stuff is I fucking love the whole the universe stuff. I love the you know the all that exists. Fucking hate Games Workshop. They're a bunch of cunts.
I have heard that. I have heard that a lot. So
they're money grabbing assholes.
Yeah, but I mean, so are Wizards of the Coast. You know, they're all that way.
Yeah, they're assholes. But yeah, the 40k is fucking awesome. I really love 40k.
And if they play their cards right, this could be like a whole thing for them.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, there's a universe. So the amount of branching stories and different stories they can tell in that sandbox could be incredible. If they hit this on the head, you know, if they hit this nail on the head, I mean, sky's the limit.
As a personal simping moment, I would love to see some Eldar stuff, or Eldari as they're called now.
Right.
Because that was my army of.
That was your army, okay.
Yeah, I was an Eldar player. The Eldar always get fucking screwed over. It's really annoying that they Games Workshop that sort of hints that they're going to build them up and then fucks them over every fucking time.
Right.
But I fucking love the Eldar are great. I mean, they've got so many great things. I mean, the orcs are fantastic. I mean, I guess I would think a really cool orc cartoon would be fucking awesome. An animated orc movie or series would be hilarious, I think. So because they're basically like, you know, soccer hooligans.
As we bring this show to an end, here is a fucking tangent that I'll start. It's a very quick question that might turn into a tangent, or it might just be a straight no.
Okay.
I'm assuming they're separate, but I always loved the idea that Warhammer 40k was in the same universe as Warhammer, and that it's just in the future. But I'm guessing that's not the case.
You mean
like Warhammer?
Warhammer
Fantasy.
Yeah.
Is it the same universe or is it different? I'm assuming it's different because there's no magic in 40k, right? Or is there magic? I don't fucking know.
Well, you've got psychers and stuff is basically magic.
Okay.
And so yes, I will say.
Oh, cool. Okay, because I always liked that as an idea that they had a fantasy setting, and then they were like, "What if we went into the far future of this fantasy setting?" You know.
There are differences, and I think to be honest, 40k is kind of supposed to be from our world.
Okay. So it is very much like BattleTech then. It's like a divergent timeline and
kind of evolved from our actual world. But the fantasy stuff is very similar. I mean, you've got the same gods, the same chaos gods. You got most of the same races.
Right. Okay.
I don't think it's
strictly
straight up.
Right.
Sort of the same universe, but it might as fucking well be.
Yeah, well, I've never known, and I've always thought it was kind of a cool idea.
I mean, if you want to be even more confusing now, Warhammer Fantasy, well, they've actually, funnily enough, they've just brought it back, I think they got rid of that.
Oh, really?
So they had the end times. Basically, they wiped out Warhammer Fantasy, and it became the Age of Sigmar.
Oh, yes. I'm aware of that name.
I personally fucking hate the Age of Sigmar. I think it's fucking awful. It basically feels like it was the best way in a similar thing that they did with Space Marines and Eldar, they realised that they couldn't, trademark Space Marines and Eldar, and they couldn't trade so many things, so they had to come up with Space Marines are now Astartes, and Eldar are now Eldari, and you stuff that they could
look. You got away with all of that Dune plagiarism. Just be happy with that and move on.
So fucking worst. The worst one for me is basically all of their chaos stuff is from fucking Michael Moorcock. They fucking absolutely ripped off Michael Moorcock stuff, and he fucking hates it. The fact that they did that, he really pissed. It really
the little I know about 40k, I'm like, this just sounds like Dune. You've just ripped off Dune.
There's a lot of,
there's so much Dune.
There's a lot. I mean, they had a rising of robots and everything and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's all very similar. But yeah, they did. So the Age of Sigmar thing, they got these Stormcast things, which are basically like fantasy Marines, really.
Oh, okay.
I don't like them, but I think enough people didn't like it that they kind of brought back the Warhammer Fantasy,
right? Oh, okay,
which is again is a really good setting. There's some really cool stuff in that too.
Well, anyway, looking forward to it if it happens. It sounds like it's more positive now than it was, so hopefully.
And fucking Cavill needs a win, man.
Yeah, he really does. He's a very rich man. He's done well, but he has been screwed over a lot. It would be nice to see him do a project that he really loves and not get screwed over on it. So, yeah, all for it. Another thing I'm all for is next week's film.
Yes.
Our Christmas film. Maybe our only Christmas film, given the time now.
Yeah.
What is it, Matt?
It will be Batman Returns.
Batman Returns. One of my favorite Batman movies. Your favorite Batman movie?
My favorite Batman movie, yes.
Yeah. It's either my favorite or second favorite. I still think 89 might just beat it out for me, but they're both great. Yeah, and I'm really excited to review this one. Plus, we've already done Batman, so we can't do that again.
We have.
So yes, we will be back next week with Batman Returns. Until then, stay safe, take care, and we will catch you next time.